Alright, so currently I am not all that famous. I mean, I'm really famous, but I'm not maximum famous. Still have no signature clothing. My flagship hasn't changed at all. I guess that's just something that they picked to begin with, maybe? Maybe that's something that he wanted to, like, keep, or she wanted to keep track of, because it'll just say, like, the Sea Queen at random places, so it'll just be, like, insert name of flagship here or something like that. My flag hasn't appeared, and neither is my clothing at all. So, I mean, like, the PB&J sandwich and the other stuff. I literally just turned myself off of Do Not Disturb, and then I remembered why, just now. Because Thomas decided he was going to say something. Okay. We're going to keep going. Or rather, it would be if anyone were paying attention. By the time you reach the docks district of San Alfonso, all chaos is broken loose. "The crown is coming!" a man shouts to no one in particular. A baker is boarding the windows of her panaderia, and a few others are doing the same. But more of the citizens of San Alfonso are ready to flee. While several pirate ships you recognize have already set off from port, trying to escape the catastrophe to come, there are plenty of ships still in the harbor. Not many are the type that take passengers, but that doesn't keep people from begging, bartering, or bribing their way aboard. All of that is about to come to an end. The Leon has a speaking trumpet, and you raise it to your lips. "People of San Alfonso!" you call out, and your voice booms across the port louder than, by any rights, it should be. I claim the title of Pirate King and claim their allegiances. I give a rousing speech about loyalty and defending our home. The Pirate King wants to know who would like to give the crown a black eye. I offer a reward to the ship that brings down the first crown vessel. I'm going to go ahead and go with the first one, even though that's not necessarily my style much at all. "I am the new Pirate King," you call out. "Too long we have been ruled by an old man who could not defend us from the crown. But now, united, we will That's not my style at all. Why did I yell that? Why? There's something in the magical Lucayan that speaks to her people, and say what you will about pirates, they are creatures of the sea. The Lucayan moves them, and they listen, ready to serve and fight at your side. And so, after you get your crew aboard the Leon, you set a course for the Crown Navy. Did that increase my greed? No, it didn't. Okay, well, that didn't change my stats at all. El Salvio is probably still the same. And so, after you get your crew aboard the Leon, you set course for the Crown Navy, and the hours of sailing away from port, you see your fleet grow. Other pirate ships hail fleeing vessels or passers-by. You think there are even a few fishing boats tagging along, crewed by islanders who have no use for the crown. Every ship helps. The point is to look impressive, shoot an overwhelming amount of cannon shots into the Navy, and convince them to retreat. Of course, it all looks good on paper. When you see just how many ships they've brought out, the reality sinks in. There are a lot of you. There are more ships of the Crown Navy, and they are better armed and better disciplined. But they're not fighting for their homes. Let the pirates fire at will, hold fire until we're in range, sail toward the Crown ships with no fear. Let's do this, because, I mean, we got the Cambiar on our side, I've got my amazing fleet, I've got a fleet of 31 ships apparently now, because they're all mine now. Let's do this. You're outgunned and probably outmaneuvered, but you're not about to let the Crown think you're afraid. "Tanima," you call out, "fill the sails if you would." "Aye, Captain," Tanima answers, and soon you've got a full downwind speed, straight toward the Crown Navy. Others among the pirate fleet follow your example, and soon most of your ships are bearing down on the Crown fleet. The Navy ships begin to fire as soon as you begin to close. Even though you're out of range, perhaps you've put a bit of fear in their hearts. Then their cannon balls start to blow holes in the pirate fleet, and you think perhaps what is in their hearts isn't fear. "Fire!" you hear one of the other captains call, and soon the sea is roaring of cannon fire and smoke. You have no idea if you will win, or if this is the last stand for the pirates of San Alfonso. And then the winds change. First a galleon, then a man of war, then a pair of brigs. Assorted cutters and sloops support ships, and sail in the wakes of larger vessels. All of them are armed to the teeth, and all of them are flying the flag of the Pirate King. You stop running and I didn't run. You stop running and begin making a wide loop that will turn you around the head of the gathering fleet. There's that old joke Anne Reed tells the Lobo Negro about the captain who asks for his brown pants. You're fairly certain that the Commodore leading the Crown fleet is experiencing a similar sensation. It's a shame their uniforms have white trousers. The battle doesn't last long, if only because the Crown ships realize they've been outmaneuvered. The cheers rise from the Pirate King's fleet, and soon the galleon sails alongside you, her captain. A native man in his 60s, with crisscross scars from forehead to chin. Who you suspect is the infamous Como Suerte? Hailing you for the news. And so you explain what transpired with El Sabio. Suerte listens, his scarred face almost expressionless. "Change in the winds, lads," he calls out. His voice echoes eerily among the ships. Then he grins. And it might be sardonic? "Long live the king," he continues. A cheer goes up from the crews, and if their captains are a little less enthusiastic than other sailors, they don't act against you. Your authority is unchallenged, for now. "Permission to sail back to San Alfonso to celebrate?" Suerto asks, and you have a feeling it's a test. Granted, we'll show San Alfonso the strength of pirate fleet. Granted, so long as they raise their own colors. Better to stay clear of San Alfonso for now. You have a feeling it's a test. Well, I mean, as long as they're not flying the colors of the Pirate King, we just whoop the Navy's asses. I mean, I'm headed back to San Alfonso, so why can't they? But I mean, there's no point in flying the colors. I mean, I'm going to be putting away the Leon and still using my own ship for now. So, yeah. There's no sense in revealing the identities of the Pirate King's fleet to pirates who might well sell that information to the Crown. You hear an acknowledgement and then the shouts of several captains, one of a woman in her 40s, whose first mate is a young man who bears remarkably similar features to her, another who wears a bright yellow coat and hat as the ships are given to their new headings. It will be a night to celebrate in San Alfonso, and so it is. You find that by the time you arrive, the Lobo Negro is already filled to bursting, and everyone wants to buy you a drink. You'd like to say you remember every moment, but later it becomes a blur of colors and heat and cheers, and all you can recall is the elation of success. San Alfonso, for the moment, is safe, and all that can be well is well. Here we got an epilogue. It might be just like a recount of like all of the things that I've done, the way it's played out in the end. Epilogue. There is always another adventure off the horizon in the Lucayans. Surely something great waits for you. After all, you've become a legend. In fact, it's likely you're one of the best-known pirates in all the written history of the Lucayan, and in her storytelling as well, judging by the way your name is spoken. The name of Captain Benstacar Angelico is sung and cheered, and people lift their mugs to you in taverns throughout the Lucayan. You are, they say, the savior of San Alfonso, the one without whom the people of San Alfonso could not enjoy their continued freedom from Crown rule. The Crown was most displeased that one of their primary agents turned out to be a spy for the Pirate King, and if they've gone after your fleet with some vigor since, you've handled it. After all, there are very few pirates in Lucayan who would refuse to come to your aid. They all know you. As your star grows, so does the legend of San Alfonso. You suspect that some day, long after the Crown has fallen to another government, long after the La Universidad de Cambiar has crumbled and faded into obscurity, the legend of the haven of San Alfonso will live on, and your name will live on with it. And what of the rest of your life? Since you became a captain, you managed to bring together 31 ships under your command, all of them bringing in their share of booty. It's a lot to support, but you're confident that you've got one of the strongest fleets in the Lucayan at your beck and call. Yeah. And that's before you became Pirate King. With the Pirate King ships under your command, it's a whole new ocean. You're very likely one of the richest pirates in the Lucayan, though pirates rarely give honest estimates of their cash on hand. Still, you've done well, and if you were the treasure-burying sort, you'd be considering where to hide a chest one of these days. Along the way, you've developed friendships, rivalries, alliances, and enemies. Things in Lucayan are changing quickly. Caesar and Tanima couldn't be more proud to have been part of the crew that saved San Alfonso. In Caesar's case, you see a love for the port city you'd never realized. Whenever you dock, you see him getting further involved in the community, working with the town leaders, having many a tea with Evan Lark, and discussing business propositions. Eventually, he buys some land on the island. Don't tell me this means you're leaving my crew. Your hospital is finally becoming a reality. I don't interfere as long as he keeps responsibility on ship. Hospital is finally becoming a reality. Caesar looks pleased you remembered. It is, he says. It's just the beginning. I'm not even reading in his voice. It is. It's just the beginning, and will take years to get everything in order, especially when we're out at sea so often. But it would be worth it. I support Caesar's dream as long as he doesn't interfere with our piracy. I don't interfere as long as blah blah blah. I invest money and time into Caesar's dream. Let's do that. How much money do I have? 3,705 doubloons. We're gonna do that. We're investing money in Caesar's dream. I almost clicked next, and I would have regretted it because I would have to go through the entire game again. Caesar has long supported you. Now it's time you give him a little back. You set aside coin from your earnings to fund the hospital and help with plans in whatever way you can. You join Caesar and Evan Lark for tea and scones, which are a reward in and of themselves. And when the time comes for the dream to be reality, you'll be there beside your first mate, acting as a second in command. Tanima relishes in how her association with the ships that saved San Alfonso replaces the fear and mistrust that previously met her in port. She starts taking on students when you're in port, and she even asks to go visit her family's village when there's time. There's not much money to be made there, she says, but I can promise some of the best coconut shrimp in Lucayan. I'd be delighted to visit your village. I don't think we'll have time, but you can have leave. I make no promises. Of course, you owe me a race. Let's go. She grins. I'll even give you a head start. No cambiar, you say, setting the terms, and she puts hands on her hips. What fun would that be? She teases. Tanima glories in her life as your cambiante and as your lover. She has come into her own on the sea, and if other captains fear her abilities, it is to your advantage. She no longer worries how others view her due to your trust in her skills and your confidence in her power, and that trust has extended to her advice and ideas. You turn to her to help solve tricky problems, not only having to do with cambiar, but also problems among members of your crew. She is an advisor as well as a lover, and you're unsure what you would do without her. Anne has stopped her claims to the title of Pirate King, saying she abdicated to a worthy opponent. You can't quite tell if she means it or if she's saving face. Her fleet continues to grow, and her devotion to San Alfonso never falters. If you're a thorn in the side of the crown, she's a dagger. But of course, she plagues plenty of merchant ships as well. You don't think Anne will ever really change, no matter who is in charge of Lucayan. As for Joaquin, you're now and forever on opposite sides. His loyalty to the crown is too strong. When you see him next, it's in Portobelena. He's dressed in continental clothes rather than a sailor. I avoid him. I try to convince him to join my crew. I threaten him to leave me alone. Let's just avoid him. No sense causing trouble for either of you. For now, there's little else to tell. You and your ship may as well live and breathe together. She's your first thought in the morning and your last thought at night. Some may say you work too hard, but to you, it's not work. Your ship and life on the Lucayan, riding the winds and waves, are your world. And for now, you're content. And so you sail, the waves beneath your hull, the winds in your sails, the music of the islands drifting across your deck. You wouldn't have it any other way, would you? Oh, it wants us to go replay. Alright, let's go ahead and look at my stats. My doubloons, is there a way of not having any doubloons at some point? Like turning down all money or something like that? Like never becoming... Well, I mean, obviously, you would end up becoming a captain no matter what. But, I mean, honestly, having that much extra, I could have given bonuses to my crew, and I would still have so much left over. So, my crew, I was at 60. I probably could have improved it with the bonuses. So, I mean, it should be larger because I would have given the bonuses if I had the choice, but I didn't have the choice afterwards. That was one thing that happened in Choice of Robot was after I bought something, I had a choice to buy more. Which, in the end, kind of messed it up a little bit. It took down, I think, the grace of my robot or something like that, because I had to... Or I wanted to import batteries, I think, but I had to change her somehow. I think that's what I ended up doing. Oh, no. I wanted to turn her into a solar robot, but I had to buy batteries from, like, overseas or something like that. So those are my stats. My fame, I went up to 90. My pistols and sword are at 73. Cambiar 85. Skulldorgi 46. My pistols and sword went way up, and I'm not sure exactly why. Maybe it's just the fact that I charged in so much towards the end. Parlay is at 73. It's matched with pistol and sword, even though I was kind of working on it. But there's less opportunities for parlay than there are for other ones. And a lot of times it was between Cambiar and parlay, and I chose Cambiar a little bit more. So I'm an honorable, good-willed pirate. I had 10 privateer. That went up in the beginning, and then I had a few bouts of things that are would be considered greed, but the way they were worded seemed more my style than some of the other ones. And then my ruthless is only at 11. I'm not sure what I did that would have given me more ruthless, like why my honorable isn't higher. Maybe I did something mean at some point, but I don't remember too much of it. Which really, in the end, if it's not weighing on my conscience, then it's completely fine that it happened, whatever it was. And that's the end of this game. So actually, I'm gonna go ahead and just stay on my stats screen here. So yeah, that was it. So I also have the 2 other games that I believe I mentioned. One is actually a sequel to the other one, so I'll end up playing through both of those at some point. Otherwise, if you guys happen to like this one or either of the other 2 series that I did, the Champion of the Gods by Jonathan Lucas and Trace the Robot by Kevin Gold PhD, then I could go back and do a different kind of playthrough. Like, if you guys want a specific type, so if you guys want me to play through a specific way and I get some people wanting me to do that, rather than being myself and going with the most natural thing, I can role play other than just myself in them. Otherwise, this is done and I'll go eventually play the other 2. I want to get some of my other series cleared up as well, so the Fable Anniversary and the Final Fantasy Tactics Advance, I want to have like this and then those 2. I just want to get those done and out of the way, and then maybe do a little bit more Minecraft. It kind of depends, honestly. And then I'll end up doing this, and I need to go back and continue playing Oblivion, because I've been putting that off for so long, just because it's so hard to get back into. But basically what I do is, with that in Final Fantasy, like, I start up the game from the save, I play it for a good 10 minutes to figure out what exactly I'm doing, or remember what it was I was doing, and then I'll revert back to the save and then restart. So go ahead, let me know what you guys thought about the series and whatever else you guys want me to end up doing. I have a job now, so I mean, I actually can buy games. So if there's anything specific that you guys want, I will go ahead and take a look at it. In the meantime, thank you very much for even bothering with this series. I mean, I'm surprised people enjoy this stuff, or looking at me, or hearing my voice. God, I have such a terrible voice. Especially with how much, like, I get really messed up a lot when I read these, so it's strange that somebody would be interested in that. I trip over my words a lot, just because I'm trying to read it too fast. But I did enjoy this one. By comparison, I think out of all of them, Choice of Robot might be my favorite out of them, followed by Champion of the Gods, and then this one. But they're all pretty good, I would say. So I'm looking forward to the next 2. In the meantime, I'll see you guys then.